Hey, welcome back to the Jon Krawczynski Show. I almost forgot what the name of the show is, which is really hard when you're staring at Jon Krawczynski. Forget the name of the Jon Krawczynski Show, but I'm capable of that. Anyway, this is TalkNorth.com. We have a special guest today, Steve Terry. You know him from TSR Injury Law. He basically, if I get the story right, I think he taught Naz Reid how to play basketball. That's what I get out of those ads. So he's going to teach us how to.
You are correct. Absolutely.
Now he's going to teach us how to do a podcast, which we need. We'll take the same kind of help. It worked out for Naz. That's all I got to say. Worked out really well for Naz. Steve also has a special thing we want to talk about here in a little bit. But let's start with some Timberwolves talk. We are coming to you from the Aquarius Home Services studio.
Scott for Aquarius, your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. What if your water was so amazing you literally bragged to strangers? With Connecticut, enjoy softer skin and hair, dishes and fixtures that shine like the sun, ice that sparkles like diamonds, and worry-free drinking water. All of this, plus 36 months, 0% financing. Schedule your free water analysis at AquariusHomeservices.com. Financing based on credit approval. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
Hey, this is Randy Shaver. Along with Kevin Gorg, we host the show Fantasy Huddle on Talk North. Each week, we're going to break down the matchups for the NFL season and try to give you the best chance to win your fantasy football games each and every week. Join us for Fantasy Huddle on Talk North.
And we're presented to you by Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood. All right, John, you got to see some high-level basketball on Monday night. Hey, Rob Dillingham did look good under those circumstances. Do you read anything into that?
I mean, I guess the only thing that I read into about it is I think that Rob needed a night like this against a very undermanned, under-talented opponent to look really good. I think one of the concerns about what we've seen from Rob kind of early is even when he's playing against the backups in the preseason, he hasn't really stood out yet. And I think he's just really in his head, trying to do the right thing, trying to make plays and trying to find the right balance between his kind of unique game, but also what the team needs from him. And so there's been some good points, but a lot of rough areas of the preseason for him. But last night, playing against the Chinese team, he shot the ball well. He made the right plays. It was a very small step forward, but I think he needed to dominate something and feel that again and maybe build a little confidence off of that.
Steve, you bring not only a fan perspective, you also work with the Timberwolves. You have relationships with the Timberwolves. You know the people. So you kind of also bring an insider perspective as well. What are you thinking about Dillingham at this point?
I think people need to relax. He is really young. And John will appreciate this. John may be taller than Rob Dillingham. He's a small dude. And obviously, Mike Conley is kind of, a good vision of what it could be. Because Mike's not like a big guy, but obviously, he can play defense and he can get his shot off or whatever. And I think that we got so excited because when all the trades happened originally, and we as fans are being told we'll have no draft picks for the next 100 years. There's no young people. And then, the wizard, Conley shows up and all of a sudden we're getting the 8th pick and we're losing our minds and we're like, oh, man, it's from Kentucky. This is going to be great. But we kind of forgot the part that he is, I think 19 years old at that time. He's just a small guy and this is a man's league. And so it's like, he's got to grow into his body a little bit. I mean, I was there when KG, first came out and he looked like a twig. And, you got to grow into your body. You got to build some confidence. So I'm still stoked about him. But, just out on the social media, people are just like, we should trade him. We should cut him. It's like, everyone just calm down. I mean, I think what John's saying, he needs to build up his confidence. And being able to do it on the NBA level is probably better than getting sent down because that would be a major confidence kind of kick in the groin. And so I think that last night, was a good start to hopefully building some positive habits and positivity going forward with the fans and just have them relax. And as they say, enjoy the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think one of the things there's a obvious excitement for him early on with you trade into that 8th pick and you get him and he's a shifty, highlight reel type of a player. He plays an exciting brand. And there's also, I think, starting to be a belief among Timberwolves fans of, hey, Tim Connelly knows what he's doing. So if he's being aggressive and going get this guy, he must be really good. And then you do see the early on, the kind of the bumps in the road with it. And I do think that there is a lack of patience right now for it. And some of the same people who were sort of tearing their hair out last year that he wasn't playing. Why aren't you giving Rob Dillingham minutes? Why isn't he getting an opportunity? Now they're the same people that are saying, oh, he can't play. We got to get rid of him. Like that's, move on and put Dante in there. And so the one thing that we do know is that Chris Finch especially is one who is going to, if he has a priority of like, I'm going to play Rob Dillingham, I think he's going to stick with it. I think he's going to give him minutes, and there might be some tough ones and he might struggle some, but he will be stubborn enough to try to execute the plan, just like he was last year of staying with his 8 guys and rolling with it, and it ended up working for him. So there is he is very much, we've talked about, he's very much like JJ McCarthy now. He is a young player on a team that can't afford to have a young guy learning on the job terribly much. And that's going to be a tricky situation for them to pull off all season long. But I think they're going to have to stick with it, let him learn, let him make some mistakes. And you hope that, sooner rather than later, the experience that he gets reduces the number of times where it just looks like he's in over his head. And I think you set the bar there and then just kind of build going forward.
I think that you got that right. It's this, we all want to win now, and Finch wants to win now. I mean, we're you always talk about these 2 timelines, and Rudy and, these guys aren't getting any younger. And so you want to win now, but then you also have to just allow growth, and growth means stumbling and figuring things out and having bad nights. And, we all love Ant. If we remember, I think it was his first year. I think it was against San Antonio. Remember, he came down and either ran the clock out by mistake or went in to drive and he needed a 3 and he hit a layup and people were losing their minds. And it's like, because they're young players, they have to learn. And he's never made that mistake again, but it's just that type of thing. I mean, Rob is going to do stupid things. I mean, it's not a reflection on him being a good or bad player. It's just, in any job. I mean, do you write the same way, 20 years ago as you do now? I mean, you have to learn and figure things out. I also think that for good or bad, he's being compared to Terrence Shannon Jr.,
right?
Who is a man, got man strength, right?
Yeah. He's 25 years old. He's
right. He literally is older. He, Big Ten player of the year. I mean, right. Yeah. He comes in and he's doing things, and you have comfort already. Like he's going to the basket. He now has a reliable 3, let's say, and so you're comparing this 8th overall pick to this other guy, and you're like, why can't they both be that way? And they're just very different players in different times of their lives.
Yeah. And there's so much more mental maturity as well that you just gain over those years, because one of the things that Chris Finch loves about Terrence Shannon right now is that he knows who he is and what he needs to do to get minutes on this team. Whereas I think that Rob still in this very early stage says, I know I can do all of these flashy things, and this is who I am as a player, but that sort of bucks against what the coaches and what my teammates need from me right now to run the show. Don't turn the ball over, just keep the ball moving and push in transition. And so you need to go through a period in the NBA of understanding where you are right now and where you have to be, and then how to get there. And Terrence Shannon just really knows that, hey, I am not the star right now. I'm going to come in, I'm going to rebound, I'm going to defend, I'm going to push, I'm going to get downhill and attack the basket, and I'm going to shoot open 3s when I have them. He does not have ambition of being any more than that right now, because he knows this is how the ecosystem of the league works and of basketball works. And Rob just is still learning that. He's 20 years old. He's still trying to figure all of that stuff out. And it takes some people a little bit more time than others, but he's not behind the curve right now. He is where he is at this stage of his career.
I see 2 paths forward to him having a good season this year. One would be he kind of figures out the point guard position. He becomes your number 1 point guard, even if Conley starts or however they manage, pecking order, he's kind of your point guard. The other one would be he's your microwave. He's just the guy you bring out. You don't worry about so much him being the perfect pass pass first point guard. You just bring him off the bench, let him do his thing, and get him back off if he starts getting attacked defensively. First of all, do you agree with that? Second of all, which is more likely at this point? Let's start with John.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely the more likely path immediately or in the short term is that sort of streaky microwave electricity kind of thing, providing it with that second unit. And he could be a player, and you can see it, like he's a vibes player. So if he comes in and knocks down his first 2 shots, then he might be a guy that gives you 12 points in 10 minutes. And then you're like, okay, like this is what it is. I think it's less likely that really over let's say the first 3 or 4 months of this season that he really settles into the position of true backup point guard, run the offense, get things going that way. I think that the key for him and the key for the Wolves is going to be trying to instill some confidence in him early and just get him some success and get him doing some simple, easy things that he can execute. Because right now, when we talk to him and when you listen to like what he's processing, you can tell that he's still really searching, and he's still, when he has bad days, I think it hits him hard. And so if you give him a small dose or small plate of just, hey, get out there, run, knock down some shots, make a few flashy passes, and then be done for the day. Like, I think that's the early recipe. And then you hope over the course of months and years, he kind of can grow into a more fully formed point guard, dynamic type of a player.
I actually have some deep analysis on this, and that is I agree with John.
Well, it was well done.
Good answer.
It was well done.
I will say this, though, way to drop in a Vinnie Johnson reference with the microwave back in the Pistons days. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he can build confidence by hitting some jumpers and just kind of coming off, almost being like an off guard. And then if he can get some passes, then that's great. I just think he's got to build confidence. I can't remember where I heard it or saw it, but it did seem like he just has he's overthinking everything. He's just not playing natural. And then he's afraid that if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, quote unquote, he's going to get pulled, which, may have some truth to it. And so I think that if he can build confidence and play to his strengths and then start to slowly expand from there, I think it's going to be best for the team.
Let's take a pause here to thank Lexus of Wayzata and Maplewood.
If you're in the market for a new luxury vehicle, look no further than our good friend Charlie Swanson at Lexus. Whether you're on the west or the east side of the Twin Cities, they've got you covered with 2 great locations, Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. Check out the all-new Lexus TX, a spacious SUV with 3 rows of seating and plenty of room for all your gear. Head over to lexusofwayzata.com or lexusofmaplewood.com for details and to find your next ride today.
All right, so when's the big trade happening?
It's got to be right around the corner, right?
It's got to be here next week or so.
It has been too calm around here. It has been too stable. Something's got to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to talk about cohesiveness, but Tim Connolly also tells his players, I'll trade your ass in a second if I think it'll help my team out.
I mean, Giannis he's got to be on a plane here is what I'm thinking right now.
He's obviously a Midwestern guy.
He would fit right in. He loves ants.
He owns a large coat.
He said that, yep, this is small town values here, just like Milwaukee, but a little bit bigger. So maybe he gets a little taste of the metropolitan as well. Let's make it happen.
We could trade a 2034 first round pick.
It's like,
why wouldn't you trade
my grandchild will be eligible for the draft for the next pick we can send out. So
yeah, well, I know I'm not going to go down that road, but I was going to say he's going to be basically Tim Connolly is ready to trade people who have not been born yet for Giannis, I think that's a value trade.
I would absolutely do it. Are you kidding me? Like, yeah, I respect the Bucks right now because they are signing every Antetokounmpo that is possible. Not even people that are related to him, but have the same last name of just like, hey, let's just get these guys in and maybe Giannis will like it and stay. So, and you do that for him because he's that good. So, if the Wolves can bring in a long lost cousin,
waffles for lunch. I mean, they got the whole plan.
Whatever. Get FEMA in there doing all Greek food choices and everything. Yes, you do whatever you can for Giannis for sure.
Okay, now just to take it seriously for a moment, The deal makes no sense. The Wolves don't have draft picks. They'd have to trade half their roster, which is a good deep roster right now. But I just don't put anything past Conley. Is there like I don't want to ask if it's possible because I don't think it's actually possible, but could Conley at least be behind the scenes contemplating some kind of a 3 or 4 team trade that ends up with Giannis in Minnesota?
Well, I will guarantee that if Giannis ever puts the white smoke up and says, like, come get me, every team will be, but Tim Connolly will absolutely be trying to get in on it. I mean, this is just his ethos. This is the way that he works, is that he takes chances and he tries to get creative. He has a lot of relationships around the league to kind of construct these, very complicated deals, and he's willing to take big swings. Now, just dating back to last year, the Kevin Durant stuff, like he was very, very in on that. Those were serious talks. There was a lot of things moving behind the scenes to try and get a deal done. It didn't work. I don't know that he has enough to do it for Giannis. I think one thing that would be in his favor is that if I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I probably want to send Giannis west. I don't want to send him east. But the Wolves have, they have some young players. They have some veteran salary that you can do to construct deals to make something feasible. But yeah, would I expect Oklahoma City, San Antonio, some of these teams that have like just treasure troves of picks to load up and try and outbid the Wolves and outbid them by a large margin? Yes. The one thing that you could also hope for is, would Giannis say, yeah, I want to win a championship. And if you put me with Anthony Edwards, I think that is a great possibility. Maybe one of the best tandems that I can come up with to have a chance to win another championship. Maybe he tries to force his way this way or influence it in some way. If it's not New York or if it's not, another team, maybe he looks at it here and says, yeah, I could win here and I could do really well. Let's try and make that happen. It's very, very far-fetched. It would, it almost assuredly wouldn't happen, but I can tell you that, yeah, Tim Connolly would absolutely be on the phones trying to see if there was something that made sense for both sides.
What do you think, Steve?
I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea.
No, I mean, would I love Giannis? Sure, that would be fun. Going back to these massive trades right before the season, I mean, I think each trade has made the team better. So, especially like you look at Gobert and you look a couple years later what they gave up, and it's like it's nothing, and he obviously has lifted the team to a different level defensively, and we weren't making Western Conference Finals before he got here. I think that's a fact. Okay. The thing with Julius and Dante, and I think people kind of also forget the human nature of it. There's been some talk about Dante, like he thought he was a Knick and he had the great end of the season, and then he gets here and he's all discombobulated. And I think that's real life. That's not a knock on anyone. But anyway, going back to Giannis, it's like, okay, so what would we have to give up? I mean, because you have to match salary. I don't right. pretend to know all the numbers, but like you got to have money. And it's like, okay, so who's making money? You're not giving up Ant. Okay. So you're going to give up Gobert, or you're going to give up Julius. Like it has to be a bigger one. And then, no, they're not going to say, hey, give us Gobert for Giannis. I mean, not being funny, but it's like, okay, so now you got picks and you would clear out. I mean, okay, here's Terrence, here's Dillingham. I mean, you would be giving up 3-4 players, anyway, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's a lot. And hey, maybe what if they already have the next Giannis anyway? What if the French kid is going to? Yeah,
I heard he almost hit his head last night. I mean, what are we talking about?
He hit his head on the rim when he blocked a shot. Like so maybe they already got that, and maybe they don't even have to worry about Giannis at this point.
Did he hit his hair, or was it actually his skull?
It was his head. Yeah, like he got up and he swats the ball away, and it was like, I mean, it wasn't quite Ant level in Indiana, but it was like he bumped his head on the rim, and you're like, holy cow, this is. Oh
yeah, if we get Giannis, he's gone too. I'm just saying. I mean, we just got to be realistic. It's like, and then So now you have Giannis and Ant and you know, a couple other players. Like, is that a championship team? Or now that we're deeper, I mean, you know, anyway.
Yep. Very, very complicated. Yeah. There'd be a lot of things that would need to happen. And do not hold your breath, but it is fun to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some sleepers in camp. Some guys who, if the injuries broke right or wrong, might end up playing, might end up being surprises or useful players. But first, Steve, I want you to tell us about what you have going on, because it sounds like you're about to do for Mike and Nori what you did for Naz Reid.
Yeah, so yesterday was a fun day. We were over at Target Center. We're actually doing some new ads, and we tricked Mike and Nori into working with us. That guy is awesome, and he is so funny. I mean, you've seen him coming out of halftime. I mean, he is so smart, and we just had a blast. But just from a bigger picture, TSR Injury Law, we have extended our relationship with the Timberwolves as a proud partner, and just super stoked about that. And so what we did is we went to our marketing machine and we wanted to come up with something really catchy. And so I think John is going to be impressed by this. So what we came up with, are you ready? The TSR Time Ultimate Giveaway. I mean, come on. I mean, that is beyond original. I mean,
it's incredibly creative on the Jon Krawczynski show. An incredibly creative, unveiling. Very nice.
That's a really good point. Your show is not that creative in terms of the name, but so no wonder you like it. But actually, it's a pretty cool thing. What we wanted to do is we're super stoked for obviously the new season and everything going ahead, and we love being, partnered with the Wolves. And so what it is it's kind of a 3-part deal. We're gonna give away a Nas signed jersey, which people love. I'm gonna take someone courtside and go to a game with them, so they'll sit there and be able to wave at John across and act like we know him and be able to yell at the players. And then we're gonna put someone's face on a billboard. So it's exactly. So it's actually a really, really cool thing. And so we got Micah to just do these little ads to basically say, hey, click on this QR code and what have you. But for anyone that's listening, and you'll see the ads because we'll run them during the games, but just, you can go to tsrtime.com, click on it. I think you put in your name and your email and you'll be entered to win. The Timberwolves will pick the winner, I think, in a month. And then we're going to be sitting courtside and you'll be up on a billboard, and then you can have people ask you for autographs. It's going to be pretty fun.
At this point in my life, I would pay somebody to not put my face on a billboard. But I think
there are days when I wish my face was not on a billboard.
No, you look good. You look good on billboards. I'm not denigrating the idea. I'm just saying that I avoid mirrors at this point in my life. But you still look good, man.
Well, that's a lot of makeup. Thank you for that. Yeah, I need a very busy makeup person. But anyway, so the TSR Time Ultimate Giveaway, that's our big deal. And you got a month to sign up, and we're going to have a good old time. And I've taken many of people courtside, and I still wake up the morning of games and I'm like, oh, how fortunate to be able to sit there. I mean, they're just the best seats. And so to have somebody else experience that is going to be awesome. And we're super stoked for it. And again, really happy to be with the Timberwolves for many more years to come.
Well, John and I remember the days when we sat courtside and we would have conversations with Flip and the officials and KG during the game, which was something.
There's nothing.
I will tell you, Flip was the best. Yeah. Finch is great. Tibbs was not. We go Rambus. Oh God. I've been through them all. But man, Flip was awesome. He would literally turn to me if someone sprained their ankle, and he'd be like, "Hey, it's TSR time." I'm like, "Oh my God!" He was awesome. He'd be like, "What play do you want to run?" Sometimes, he was a great dude, man.
And just to give everybody the number one more time, 612 TSR time. If you need it, use it to call these people. They will help you out. Let's also thank Royal Credit Union.
Royal Credit Union's 4.00% APY 12-month certificate has guaranteed returns at maturity and no minimum opening balance for fast and easy opening. Are you saving for college, wedding, retirement, or a large purchase? Reach your savings goals faster and open a 4.00% annual percentage yield 12-month certificate at any Royal office or online at rcu.org/certificate saver. Early withdrawal penalties could reduce earnings and principal. principal. APY accurate as of 9/29/25. Insured by NCUA.
Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove. Bill Princeton, the Princeton family have been in this business for decades and decades. You go to Princeton's Liquors, like we've been telling you, you have great selections of anything you want for parties, for just hanging out, for watching a Wolves game on a Tuesday night. But they specialize in a couple of things. They specialize in bourbon. They specialize in craft beer. Amazing selections of both local and kind of national products, unique brands that will kind of turn someone's head when you show up with it, and stuff that you see every day that everyone loves as well. So if you go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove, they will have everything you are looking for in the beer, wine, spirits kind of ilk, and THC seltzers and gummies, anything that you're looking for along those lines. Go to Princeton's Liquors in Maple Grove.
All right, gentlemen, give me your sleepers. Give me a sleeper, someone who's looked pretty good in camp or in preseason games, who, if things broke just the right or wrong way, could end up contributing.
Yeah, I'll say we'll do two, because generally speaking, the roster is largely set. They have 14 players. They'll probably keep that 15th spot open for flexibility. But if you want to go off of that, I do think that Jalen Clark has a real chance to be impactful in the rotation this year. We've talked a lot about Shannon and Dillingham, rightfully so. But if this team really does want to prioritize getting back to that number one in the league level of defense that they were 2 years ago, Jalen Clark is the guy. He has been, before he got hurt, he's been playing with just an energy and a physicality to his game on defense that is disruptive in a way that no one else on this team is, unless it's Ant, when he really locks in. So, we've seen Clark kind of just blowing up screens. We've seen him getting into passing lanes. We've seen him creating turnovers, and the whole unit that he is in just has a different energy when he has been out there on the floor. And so, Dillingham and Shannon bring an offensive component to things. And I still think that Clark can hit some shots and cut to the basket and score that way. But really that defensive mindset that they have been preaching all training camp and all preseason, if you really want to, walk the walk with that talk, Jalen Clark, I think, is the guy who can help do that. If we want to go deep cut, Johnny Juzang hasn't missed a shot all preseason, and I don't think he's going to make the team, but I do think he's a situation where maybe he wrestles a two-way spot, maybe he goes to Iowa, and then, just if you need something in a pinch with some injuries or things get dire during the season, you bring him up for a few games and let him fill in and just shoot threes, because he has really done everything he possibly could to open eyes just with the shooting component of it. And so that's certainly a guy that I'm just watching to see, down the road, how would they incorporate him? Do they kind of try to keep him in the mix in some way, somehow, just in case some emergency happens and they need some shooting on the wing to come in? He can do that.
Got a favorite, Steve?
I will tell you, I think Clark is that dude is built.
Yeah, he is.
You see him on the court, but I don't remember where I was, but we were on an elevator together, and he was kind of in front of me, and he looked like Giannis to me. I feel like his shoulder. I was like, this dude is sneaky ripped. Mm-hmm. And when you talk about blowing up screens, he obviously he's a great defensive player, but I think it might be a little undersold about how strong he actually is. My pick is not that deep, but I think this is going to be a big bounce back year for Dante. I think that just in his head, the type of player he is he needs to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. And I think that being traded from the Knicks at the last minute really was a shock to him. I think Julius was like, hell yeah, I'm getting out, right? And had a landing spot and was more excited. I think Dante is like, what are you talking about? I was going to be with my Villanova boys. I just hit 50 in the, whatever the playoff game was or whatever the hell it was. And I think that it was really a shock to him, and to get his family here and get situated and now have an off season. And I just think that he's the type of player where comfort is then going to relay to the court, where he's going to hit the threes that we expect. And by the way, he's a hell of a defensive player. there were people saying that are smarter than me, he was the key to the trade. I mean, they got Julius, and I know like Julius, but they're like, this dude is the unicorn. He can hit the three. He can be a point guard. He can play some defense. He's got a little bit of dog in him, where he's, chippy. And it's like, yeah, we want that. And so I think that this is going to be a big year for him.
We talked to Dante before the game against the Chinese team. And, he did mention how it was important for him and his family to stay in Minnesota all summer just to get settled. Like they were not, I don't think, ever really settled last year. He was remembering with the Knicks, like he finished his Knicks career the last 3 months of that season or so, he was in the starting lineup. Like he was playing 40 minutes a night for Tibbs. Like it was such a different role, and it was such a shock to his system that when he got here, that it was just like, oh man, what's going on here? How do I find my way? And so I am, in that camp as well. That I think Dante is going to have a really, really good season. I think you're going to see people, forget that right before he got injured, he hurt his ankle. He'd been put in the starting lineup. They had won, I think, 5 in a row. He was playing the best basketball he had played. Then he got the toe injury, and then he was out for a while. So he's healthy. And he brings that edge and that attitude, the fight with Detroit and stuff. I think that's good. I think a team needs a dude like that that's going to mix it up a little bit. And so I think that's a great pick for outside of the starting five. Like I think he's going to have a really good year.
I thought
and that's why it's called the Jon Krawczynski Show. You're so smart.
That's right.
I thought one of the best conversations I had with anybody last year was after it was the night they clinched against Golden State. And John Randall, Julius Randall, he had my football mind on. Julius Randall had a very good series, and people were standing around Dante asking him about Julius. And I asked him, just how valuable was it that Julius ended up being on the sideline for a while? And he said, well, it wasn't just Julius. We both were hurt. Julius is hurt for a longer period of time, but Dante was out for a little bit too. He said Julius and Dante just sat there and watched the core players, how they play together. They kind of learned more being out together watching than they did trying to incorporate their playing styles. And that's when they came back, and that's when the Wolves went on that run and were one of the best, few teams in basketball, not only down the stretch, but through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Yeah. And he came back and he was still hurt. Let's be honest. Like that toe, he had this weird sort of, not a brace, but like a wrap on it all playoffs. He had a plate in his shoe to try and take some of the pressure off of it, but he was in pain. And so, he definitely came back with a better view of where he fit, but I think his ability to physically fulfill that role wasn't great. And he still, he had moments, but he wasn't where he needs to be. So now, him being fully healthy, him being fully on board with where he is in this offense and defense, all of that, kind of mixes together to create a pretty optimistic outlook for him this year.
No doubt about it. All right, let's take care of the businesses that take care of this business. Then we'll get back for some final thoughts and some more analysis. I want to ask Steve basically to preview the season for us through his prism. First, though, let's hear more about True Vision Institute.
True Vision Institute in Bloomington. For those watching on video right now, you see I have no glasses. It's been great for me. I've had a couple of Wolves fans reach out to me over the last, I would say, 2 months or so and say, hey, I heard you talking about True Vision. I went into True Vision as well. And it's worked out great. So I'm not selling you a bill of goods here. You go to True Vision in Bloomington. You go to truevision.com, set yourself up. You will walk into just an incredibly welcoming environment. They will take care of you. They are incredibly knowledgeable. And when you come out on the other side of it, whether it's LASIK surgery or some other vision correction method, your life is going to be changed. It's going to be easier. It's going to be just so much more convenient. I'm finally at the point now where when I get into bed at night, I don't reach and grab for my glasses just out of habit. It's finally, this is where I am now. And, more than a year later, still see great. It's been life-changing for me. So go to chewvision.com, set up your consultation, and get in there like several other listeners on this program have, several other Wolves fans, and start getting the benefits that I've received as well. Chew Vision in Bloomington, chewvision.com.
We've been very lucky. TSR Injury Law, Steve, it's been just a great supporter and boon to the program ever since the beginning of this thing. And we keep on adding sponsors who just end up being friends of ours, who being great supporters, and right there among all the rest of them, Shepherd Goods and Lamb Chops clothing line.
SGLambchops.com is the place to go. The promo code is JONK20 for 20% off anything you get at Lamb Chops. Jordan and Craig and all the guys at Lamb Chops they continue to churn out incredible collaborations with the Timberwolves. They have t-shirts, they have hoodies, they have sweatshirts, they have pants, they have hats, sweaters, whatever you want for casual wear that is super stylish. You can wear it out in the North Loop. You can wear it to a Timberwolves game. You can wear it lounging around at home, sitting on your couch and watching TV. It is that versatile. It is that high quality. So you go to sglambchops.com, use the promo code JONK20 for 20% off anything you can get at Lamb Chops.
All right, Steve, what are your expectations, hopes, fears for this season?
First ring. It's that simple. I think
you had a hope, more of a hope or an expectation?
I think we're getting out of the hope stage and we're getting into expecting things. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there, but if you look, I mean, we have a good team. Like, it's legit. And you have good older players and younger players, and I think we have the perfect coach. And I think that you're going to see growth, and this is going to be the year. I'm not certainly predicting any type of championship, but I mean, I don't think you make it to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row by luck. I mean, they have a good team. It'll be interesting to see if they actually come out the box a little bit faster. I know there's been some talk with the trades. It kind of takes some time to meld together, and hopefully with the continuity that they can kind of get to a faster start. Although I don't even know if home court advantage means as much in the NBA anymore. I mean, it just kind of is what it is. But I just think that this is going to be a real big year. I am beyond stoked to just kind of see the growth and just see some competence going forward.
John, you and I will do a preview show before the season actually starts. Let's hit a couple of more finer points. When you hear that Anthony Edwards came to camp with this minuscule body fat ratio, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I always be doing this as long as I have. I try to not put too much into some of those things, because you always hear, oh, some guy added all this muscle or lost all this weight or did all these things. And then, then 2 months into the season, you'll hear the same guy say, oh, I lost too much weight, or I got to put on more, and all this stuff. And you really don't know. But what I can say is, what I do think is notable is, you just look at Anthony Edwards, you stand in front of him, you watch him out there. He is different in his body composition than he has been at any other point in his career. He is leaner. He does look a little more toned, a little more, just a little stronger. And his face is just a little leaner as well. The baby fat is coming off of it. And so I know that Rudy Gobert in particular has talked about that he has also noticed that, and that he's been on Ant to kind of get this part of his game under, a little bit more discipline. And there's a belief that this will help him not wear down in the playoffs. We've seen it feels like in both the last two conference finals, as all of the defenses are loading up on him and making things tough on him, he does get tired. And that's not something that can be weathered when you are trying to win a championship. And Alex Rodriguez said the same thing this summer, is that they have really put a lot of emphasis on Ant of just hey, get in the best shape you can possibly be in. And that looks, at least right now, like he is on that path that you just physically can notice a difference in him. And I do think that that will have a chance of helping him be ready for what the playoffs have become, which is just this gauntlet of game after game after game after game, every other night for 2 months. So I think it's encouraging. I don't want to put too much into it, but it's certainly different than at any other point, at any other fall that he's come into the NBA. He just looks different that way.
Yeah, I always go back to when Jack McCallum was covering the Bulls for Sports Illustrated, back when Sports Illustrated was the best. And he had great access to those guys. And I just remember the conversations he would have with Jordan, and Jordan be like, you want to be great, you got to be great 24 hours a day. You got to sleep well. You have to eat well. I mean, Jordan would go get manicures and pedicures just so his feet and his hands felt great all the time. He'd always get massages. And I think Ant has been a very hard worker. I think he's been very dedicated. He probably hasn't had the best diet.
Definitely not. Yeah, no, and I don't know that, he's changed things that much. Maybe he has a little bit, but I think that there's still just a part of him that just loves fast food and pizza and late night eating and stuff like that. One thing that he did say is that he is trying now to get better sleep. He said he's shooting 7 to 9 hours and getting restful, regular sleep. And that, to me, as much of his diet, but when you've heard kind of about how he goes about life, he plays video games until 4 a.m. He just does not give his body the time to recover and rest. And, he's a young guy, so generally speaking, he can get away with it. But I think that there has been definitely a concerted effort on his part to try to be better in that area. And that could really help him as well. If he's not just burning the candle on both ends and going, Jordan would go out into the casinos and, late at night, and Ant doesn't do that, but he's up playing Call of Duty all hours of the night and just not sleeping that way. And so if he is resting his body more, you might see a little bit more consistent energy, less of those low nights where he's not really kind of locked in on defense and giving it, kind of his all. And so that's promising. And the other, Jordan won his first MVP when he was 24. Kobe Bryant was the first team All-NBA at 24. 24 is a big year in a player's development. You're not quite at your prime yet, but you should be really, really close if you're a great, great player. And that's what Anthony Edwards wants to be.
All right,
it's
Steve.
super interesting because can you imagine being that good and playing, Fortnite till 4 a.m. and eating fast food and averaging 27, 5 and 5, whatever. And I think that if we're being honest, if we all had that ability and we could party all night or do whatever and then still go out and be second team All NBA and make $300 million, we'd be like, it's good enough.
That's right.
I mean, I'd be like, I take that life. It is a huge year for Ant. And I think I didn't understand the 24 years old thing. That's a great insight. Whatever that age is, though, we've all seen it, where there's a certain age when these good players become great. And to become great, you always hear the same thing. I got a personal chef, maybe they got married, maybe they have a kid, so they calm down. I mean, whatever it may, every player's, or I'm now, doing Pilates. There's always this kind of something that it's a maturity level. And it's I got to be more serious. And I think that you brought up Jordan and everyone's 6 championships and they just remember towards the end, but they don't remember when the Pistons were beating the shit out of him. My best years ever as a Detroit Pistons fan. And I mean, and they were trying to run him out of town. He could not beat Detroit, if you remember this. And I mean, you had Jordan Rules and Dumars and Isaiah just beating him. Rick Mahorn. I mean, and so he's I got to get stronger. And then he took it to the next level, to the maniac level. Same thing with Kobe. If you remember, he wasn't winning things right away. Right? When he shot the air ball against Utah and people are get him out of town and all this. It's interesting to see that this seems to be the time and the age and everything is coming together for Ant, that hopefully we're going to see that next step. He's got to, he's got to average more. And I'm curious to see if he's actually going to play defense because You hear them saying that, like that somehow sunk in. I don't know if it's going to happen. Would you rather score 30 or lock down? It's like both.
Yeah.
If you want to be the best, you got to do both. And it's easy for me to say because I'm sitting here eating pizza and doing nothing. So I understand. But like I'm also not getting paid $300 million. So if you want to be the best, and this is what you got to do. And so that's one of the exciting things about this season is just to witness that. Hopefully, the next step.
I will say, like in being around him these last few weeks, there does seem to be just a little bit more of a substance to his understanding of what needs to happen, and like the leadership that he's doing, the vocal, the way that he made sure that he got people into Minnesota early this fall and in late summer to work out together. There does seem to be a maturity that is coming here, that he's recognizing that, hey, we've made it far the last couple of years, but now it's like go time. Like now I'm tired of coming up short. And I think that is palpable here. And so we'll see what that means at the start of the regular season and how it translates. But every year he's made a huge leap, and I don't see why we should stop expecting that now.
Final thoughts, Steve. But first of all, thanks for coming on. I'm really looking forward to seeing the Mike and Nori ads. I'm guessing that this means that Mike and Nori will soon be, I don't know, like the Team USA coach or he'll be the next coach hired, because that's what you do for people's careers. So the floor is yours. Wrap the show up any way you like.
Thanks for having me on. It's always a delight to talk Wolves. I'm super stoked. I will just say that everyone right now, all the players, they love Finch. I think this is, the way he goes about it, he treats them like adults. He holds them accountable, and what I've heard, I'm not in the room, but he treats everyone the same. So if Ant messes up, he's on him as much as he'd be on, Terrence, Shannon Jr. But I will just say that life comes fast. Tibbs, James Franklin, go down the list of these teams that are supposed to be doing really well. Next thing you know, expectations aren't met. There is no loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
And these, and so when we were talking earlier about win now versus bumps in the road, and, people are like, well, no, you got to expand the bench to more than 7. It's easier said than done, because I think as much as everyone loves Finch and he's done things that have never been done with the Timberwolves, you don't have time to mess around. This is a win now league. And I think we all need to kind of remember that, and by the way, these players, if you truly like them, then maybe bust your ass on defense like he wants you to. And then you can keep what you want. But man, things change real fast in the sports.
There's real stakes right now. Like it's very rare in the Wolves history. All of us have been through it, watching it, where like you enter seasons with real expectations and real stakes. And now that's where you're at. And there's just a lot of pressure that comes with it, and see how everyone responds to it.
Great stuff. Great to have you on, Steve. We'll do it again soon. Best of luck with the business. Best of luck with the ads and everything else. And enjoy the season.